Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is the day. What I mean by that is I did videos on Pikachu with gray felt hat, and I said there'd be one more in the future on it. Today is that day because I've seen enough. The price has gone up, and we finally have our conclusion. I want to go over the prices, but I also want to talk about the lessons learned because I think people can apply it to all the other releases for Pokemon, everything in the TCG world, and just your daily life. I think there is a lot of things that happen on this that you can learn from, and hopefully you all did. If you have not seen the price over the time, well, as we thought, when there was that release out in Europe, the prices did drop. Right here, you can see it says about $89.17, but it slowly has climbed up to the point where right now it is $291.24 for a near mint plus 4.99 shipping. But there has been a few people that have bought it recently. It doesn't sell like 20, 30, 40, 50, obviously, because the price is so high. But you can see right here, there's 322, 280, 349, 314. Prices are kind of all over the place. Interesting enough, there was actually one on February 16th that sold as a light play, $334. I don't really understand that. Most likely, I'm going to guess that they accidentally didn't read the condition and just bought it that way. So that really stinks if that's actually true. Because you can see right here, near mints, light plate is right in the middle there. It's just unfortunate that that person didn't notice. So I know there was a lot of people that wrote on my videos before. They were trying to say what was going to happen to the price of it. It was no surprise to me that this card went up because to me, when I look at this card, looks very beautiful. Artwork's really nice. It's just lighthearted, good old fun. And one of the ones how I ask people and I form an opinion after that is I ask people not in the Pokemon world what they think of a card. Like, do they really like it? Is it something that they would look in purchasing? Because if you're not a Pokemon fan, it probably doesn't apply to you. But my wife, she does play Pokemon Go, but she has no interest in cards whatsoever. She saw this card and she said she wanted one of these. Okay, so that's how I knew right away that you know what? This is one of the cards outside of my own opinion on it that people are going to want to have. And that was the case, right? We totally saw everybody going nuts over these card and it did have that drop. So hopefully everybody were able to pick it up. I know some people down below in my comments before was saying this card was going to be down 30s, $40 because of what was going on. Others said it was going to the moon, and we have going to the moon as the correct answer. Will it be like $1,000 one day? I'm not really sure. And I think my takeaway from all of this is this. Hopefully, Pokemon figures out this whole supply issue, right? That is just number one. We see that with every product they release. But I also want to take the time to say this collecting is a long term thing. Everybody wants to have the cards right away, and I understand that. But sometimes with these supply issues, I think you have to remember you only have so much money and you should go for the cards that you really want. And what I mean by all of that is I'm going to move on to another card here. This Alolan Executor. I love this card so much. And I think what people are starting to realize is there are some cards out there that exist right now that look very good and has just been passed over because of all the other big hype cards, right? So that's why it almost seems like every other day people are saying, "Oh my god, this card is going up in price. This card's going up in price. People are buying this one out." And I think what you should really be doing is just taking a look at the set as a whole, marking out cards that you would love to have, right? Like whether it is going to be super expensive or not, just cards that you would like to have. Whether if you want to play with it or you just want to collect because it looks beautiful, right? Have a game plan here. Know how much you can actually spend because this is one of the cards I freaking love. And why is that? Because I play Pokemon Go, and every time I get a chance to put this guy into a gym, I absolutely love it because you've not seen it alone Executor in a Pokemon Go gym. Those guys just stick out of there. You'll know what I mean if you actually do it. It's pretty cool. That's why I love doing it. That is my trademark Pokemon Go gym Pokemon that I shove in there. And of course, the reason why I bought so many booster boxes really was because of the Load Executor right on top of that box. I just love it. This next one, this Slack author right here. Take a look at this one. This one is so simplistic, it just makes me laugh. I enjoy it a lot. It's nice to have the one flower. And honestly, if I was rich, I would just be sitting there doing this all day. Not sitting, I'd be laying in the grass. As long as there was no ticks around, I would totally do that. But you can see right here, it's interesting to me to see all these people just come along and be like, oh my God, this actually looks pretty cool. And you can see right now, card's about $16 with shipping. I think totally worth it. Now, there was something else that popped up. I was at a Target just yesterday, which was Saturday, and this Shrouded Fable ETB was sitting on the shelf. Literally the only thing left out of everything in the Target. That was it. You can see some Magic the Gathering there. We got some Yu-Gi-Oh off to the side. You even got Lorcana, but what you had was this one Shrouded Fable. And on my Discord, I was telling people this, and they asked me if I bought this last one. And I was like, no, I walked away. And the reason is because I said before about budget, right? Do I really want to spend the money on this ETB, right? I thought to myself, no, I'm not going to do that because I had a plan of what cards I wanted to buy, what sets I wanted to buy. And this was not in it. I know the Persian looks freaking fantastic. You just take a look at this. I enjoyed it. And this is what I was saying before, people couldn't get Pokemon product, but they went back and they looked at Shrouded Fable because it was something that they could actually purchase. And like, oh, look at this Persian, looks pretty cool. Let me just buy this, and the price on it went up. Right. So I don't think what people should be doing is just FOMOing to anything that just is out there. Not to say that Shrouded Fable isn't going to go up one day, right? Mostly Pokemon products will always go up, but is it something as a collector you want to be getting into because of that? Are you just going to buy it just because it's sitting on the shelf? I think you really need to ask yourself that. I went to Japan not too long ago and I was purchasing Y Schwartz cards. There was one card I wanted. It was release day, that day, and they had all these sign cards. And the one I wanted wasn't there. And you know what I did? I FOMO'd and just bought some other card because you know what? I was like, I'm in Japan. I'm feeling it. I got the money. Let me go buy it. And you know what I did afterwards? When I got back here to the United States, I regretted it. I absolutely regretted it because I spent the money that I wanted on one card and I got something else. And it wasn't exactly what I wanted. So going back here to this Pikachu, it's one of those ones where I know it's expensive, and at some point maybe you come back to get it. And I think that's very admirable as a collector to actually do. But I wouldn't throw everything away at it when you have all these other beautiful cards out here. Like take a look at this Eevee. This Eevee card just looks freaking awesome from Twilight Masquerade. I know it's a bit expensive, right? There's other cards that are lower, like this Chansey. Oh my god, Chansey's so amazing. I just love that Snorlax in the corner. I wish the side deck wasn't being covered just by a couple of the words over here, but in general, you see this? There's just a lot of lovely cards and Pokemon that I think people will enjoy. You can move on and just pick it up. I know this Pikachu is very amazing, but don't get lost in all this, right? Again, collecting is something you do for the long term. That's what makes it amazing. All the people that grew up with Pokemon when they were little couldn't afford the cards. Maybe you got a couple. You couldn't get them all, but as they grew up, as we got jobs, we were able to go back and be like, oh my God, I could get some of these Pokemon cards. Look, so these are still pretty cool. And I think one day, if you don't own this card, the same thing will happen. It'll be one of your chase cards, one of your grails that you've always wanted to have. And that's what makes collecting beautiful. You don't have to have a collection or a card that is worth 40, 50,000. I think one of the things that I hate the most are people that go, look, this guy has a $10,000 card. I mean, they're the greatest collector ever. And I'm like, that's not what collecting to me is. To me, it's one of those ones where you get the card that you want, whether it's $5 or $50 or $500. As long as it makes you happy, as long as you enjoy it, as long as there's a story, a connection to it, I think that's what makes collecting beautiful. I think people totally forget that, right? There's all these cards out here in the world. Here's why Schwartz. Take a look at this one. This is an anime. This was called Date a Bullet. This is part of the Data Live series. And if you just look at this card, it's freaking expensive. $999.88, but it looks freaking amazing. And it has the signature of the voice actress on here. Same thing with this confrontation of black and white. You actually have the signature on here, and this was a crazy battle that happened in the movie. Now, going over here, take a look at this one. Evolving Wilds Bob Ross Secret Lair Drop Series. This is literally a work of art. Bob Ross right over here. How much is this card? Let's see what we got here. Near mint, $5.19. And it makes me happy, right? It reminds me of my childhood when I watched Bob Ross and just amazed at the stuff that he can churn out within a few minutes. It's pretty amazing, something I never thought I would be able to do, and I still definitely cannot do that in my life. I have no way of doing this art or recreating it. But now I can own it for $5.19 on a tiny little Magic the Gathering card, okay? You get what I'm saying? So collecting whatever it is, you could even say cars, watches, purses, seashells, stamps, anything. It's one of those ones where as long as you have joy out of it, and to me, not harbor any resentment, right? Like it would stink if you just bought this card, right? This card's amazing, but at $1,000, do you want it? If you buy it, is it going to make you happy? Or are you going to be really angry at it? I think collecting is one of those ones where you should look at it and be like, I love everything about it, and I'm happy with the price that I got it for or how I actually acquired it, right? Like if you go right here, and this is something more current, right? Prismatic Evolutions. If you were to buy this, let's see, this Prismatic Evolutions Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box for, really, is that how much? Is that the lowest? That is crazy. That is absolutely crazy. 300 something dollars. Okay, let's just say 300 something dollars. Is it going to make you happy owning this? And if you even attempt to open it and you don't get what you wanted, I think you're gonna have a lot of regret doing that, right? People are going to be upset doing it. I know the drop rates on some of this stuff just really awful, and I don't want to see anybody actually experience any of that, right? So if you only have $60, this is my advice to you. Look at one of these cards that you actually want to get, right? Not just settle, but that you've wanted to get. Like I said, make a list, say this is what I want in my collection and I want to get it now. And I say that because, right, as more and more people are doing this whole searching and prices of certain cards go up because they realize how beautiful this card on my screen. Actually, I have so much joy looking at this card. That way, as a collector, you're able to pick off some of the cards before they go up in price, especially like what happened with this Persian, okay? And if you don't have any more cards, or you want to do something else, something more memorable. Because, right, you're a collector right now of trading cards, but what else are you collecting in life? I think you should be collecting a lot of wonderful memories. And there's one memory I like to tell people to collect. Not just pizza on my screen. I want you to collect memories with your loved ones. Yes, this is going back to actual human life out here. I know. Family, friends, anybody. I just went out to eat with my wife for her birthday and her family, right? And it was a wonderful time. I really enjoyed it. And it was one of those ones where I think I'm gonna remember that dinner for quite a long time, and hopefully till I die, because it was a really great time. Nice to spend time with family, and you don't always get these moments. One day you're gonna look back and you're gonna be like, I have all these wonderful cards. They look very pretty, and you missed out on the human side of everything. So even though you can't pick up prismatic evolutions, maybe one of the things you should do with your money is just call up your family, your friends, and ask them out for dinner. I think that'll be an amazing time. And definitely, even though it may seem like a downgrade because you're not getting the cards you want, I guarantee you, you're not going to have any sort of regrets with that. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to write it down below or see the description for my email address. But as always, have fun, be happy, and don't spend anything outside your budget. Have a good one. Unless it's pizza, because pizza's pretty cheap and it's a good time. Bye.